Hi, I'm David Cooper from Tyros Tipsters and ePianos. If you've got one of the earlier model keyboards or one of the earlier Tyroses, the Tyros 5 might be a good choice. Let me show you why. So to start with, we've got a much more darker silver. The earlier models were all in a lighter silver. I think it looks quite smart in this finish. So this is the 76 note version. You've got an extra octave and a quarter than you would have had on the other Tyros models. So 76 notes is 6 1/4 octaves. And for those of you who play the piano, it's only an octave shorter then than a real standard piano. If you play the organ and your lower keyboard wants to be a bigger range of notes to play your different inversions, then on the 76 note you can spread out that much easier. Now the Tyros 5 also has a facility where you can zone out one voice and have it right at the top of the keyboard as a kind of a solo instrument. So right 3 can be used and you can zone that out, and you've got a bit more range to do that with the 76 note, so it's not going to be quite so cramped in if you want to play a solo section. Okay, so we've got lots of new voices. The Tyros 5 has many new voices. Some of them are in a new section called Organ World, and there's another feature called Ensemble which I'll show you. We've also got lots of new styles. There's a new feature called Audio Styles, and these actually have real drums playing alongside the patterns that you're familiar with. They also have some voices in some of them, or maybe some castanets or some tom-toms or something. So they really help to enhance the drums that you're familiar with to give you a much better overall style. And the recording feature is better too. We've now got a much more advanced recording section. We can record audio as well as MIDI, but also we can take out vocals from a standard CD track that you might have, or you can slow down or speed up a recording that you have, and then it allows you to play along or even sing along while you're listening to other people's music. So the audio record and the audio section has been enhanced, and we can even put our recordings into the multipads, and that means we can play along with sound effects or music from a CD that we've copied in, and then play along with our own instruments. So lots of new scope for experimenting with the Tyros 5. The other thing I like about the Tyros 5 is that its layout is exactly the same as a Tyros 1, 2, 3 or 4. So if you've been building up through the ranges, or you've got one of the earlier models, it's exactly the same to operate. The panel layout is identical, and we can get to the same buttons for the same features with ease. The difference is that everything's changed in the Tyros. So on a 5, all the sounds, all the styles, they've all been updated and arranged even better. So you're going to get a bigger range, but in a familiar layout, very easy to navigate. And if you're moving on from an earlier Tyros, the Tyros 5 allows you to bring registrations from an earlier model into the Tyros 5. So if you want help with that, we can do it for you. But any registrations that you've bought or that you've made can be loaded in. The reason why this works is there's a section called Legacy, and in that Legacy voice section, all the sounds from previous models are loaded in. So that means that you can bring in a registration from a Tyros 2, and the voices that it had will be available still in your Tyros 5. They're not in the main sections because they'd have brought the more up-to-date voices in, but if you wanted to use sounds that you've used from an earlier model, they'll still be available. And also premium packs. If you've got a premium pack that you've bought, or something extra voices from Yamaha allow you to download them again, and using a program in your computer, or we can do it for you if you don't want to. There's a program called Expansion Manager, and that allows you to bring all your expansion packs together and put them into a format that the Tyros 5 will accept. And again, we can help you with that. Okay, we talked a lot about it. Let's look at a Tyros 5 and show you some of the new features. Okay, so I'm sitting now at the Tyros 5, and I want to show you some of the new styles that are built into it. Now, some of them are the audio styles, and some of them are just brand new styles that they've launched in the Tyros 5. So if we go into the movie and show section, now what I tend to do when I'm playing is I use the OTS link, because it gives you some fantastic sounds just from the touch of your style variation. So for those of you who don't use it, we've got the ABC buttons here, and when the OTS link is turned on, A gives me registration one touch session number 1, B gives me number 2, C gives me 3, and D gives me 4. So that means I get a selection of really nice sound setups without having to separately choose things to select from the sound section. Okay, so tap dance swing is selected Intro number 2, let's have a listen. So some brilliant foot tapping in the background. It really does help to enhance what you're playing and make you have a smile on your face, which is great. Okay, the next one I want to show you is Takata. And Takata is a great style. It's very good for something like Phantom of the Opera. I mean, you can play the song Takata on it, I'm sure. But if we go to the intro number 2, it's quite a sinister, this one, and we can play our chords. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. Bit out of practice, but you get the idea. They're really big, full sounds. In fact, the ending on this one is great too. And that really rich organ sound coming through. Okay, let's go to another one now. We've got one. Okay, we've got one called Choral Hymn. Choral Hymn is a free play style. So for those of you who have got an earlier model than a Tyros 3 or 4, then you might not realise that free play are a new style of backing. Now there's a couple that are on the Tyros 4 called Ethereal Movie and Ethereal Voices, and these are lovely styles. In fact, I'll just give you a little idea. The Ethereal Movie one is great for the Titanic theme. If I put the intro on first. Most amazing style. So these are Ethereal Movie and Ethereal Voices. Now these are all called free play, and the reason why they're free play is there's no obvious drum beat to what you're playing. You just get a nice full enhanced backing that you can just play along at any speed to, but they're quite moving, very nice accompaniments. Ethereal Voices is beautiful because we've got like choirs in the background. I'll just show you this one. So some great styles which are in Tyros 4, the free play. They're just a little bit more enhanced. The choirs have got better. Now if we go to another one on this page, Proms March, and this gives us a great one. This works very well for the Dam Busters, although it would be good for the Proms March as well, I'm sure. If we go to the intro number 2, play my chord. Great ending. And there's one more. The other ending is even better, I think, for this one. So some great new styles, and that's just one page we've gone through from the movie and show section. There's loads of sections to choose from, so let's try a few more just to give you some of the new ideas that are built into Tyros 5. Let's go to swing and jazz. Let's go to the audio again. Now the audios, you'll notice when I turn it on, it takes about 2 seconds just to load up. So when I press the button, you'll see loading on the screen. There we go. And if I put my intro on, let's have a listen to this one. Solo clarinet sounds great. Another great style. Okay, let's try another one then. Let's try the Cool Jazz Club, which has now got the audio built into it too. So let's have a listen to that one. Okay, that's a nice one. So that's Cool Jazz Club. And we've got all the usual ones that you're familiar with, but again with updated sounds and variations. So we've got modern big band, we've got Manhattan swing, instrumental jazz, acoustic jazz. I love this, is a great style. That's another great style. So a really nice set of styles in the swing and jazz section. Let's try another section then, shall we? Let's go to the country section. Okay, some great new country styles, and again the ones with the audio are the ones I want to show you. The new bluegrass is a great style. Let's have a try with this. So I'm going to put an intro on. We'll just play with the first backing. Okay, another one here that's really nice is the Easy Country, and this works really well for Norah Jones. So if we play a bit of Norah Jones. it's a great style, that one. Now I want to show you now in the ballroom section. Let's go to the theatre organ. So on the third page of the ballroom section we've got things like theatre organ Showtime, and this is a new style which is phenomenal. So let's play a chord on there. Another excellent rhythm style. Okay, and we just finished up with some Latin now. The Latin itself, a lot of these have got these audio again, and they just add something extra to the style that we've never had before. So if we go into a pop flamenco, let's go to pop flamenco, and I'm going to play my intro again, and listen very carefully to the intro. Wow, what a brilliant accompaniment that one is. That's the pop flamencos, and you really get in the feel of it, don't you? So the styles are excellent on here. They're really good accompaniment section. The voices have been upgraded, so all the sounds are much better now. If we go into the sections over here, we've got a place called Organ World, and this is, if you imagine you collect cars, you have all your garages for your different cars. On Organ World, if you collect organs, you've got a different place for the different types of organs, and the first one is the vintage organ section, and you can see we have all the different drawbars, just like we have on something like a Hammond organ, and we can get the different sounds. Now there's some buttons along here we can go to. The one on the right is presets, and that means that these buttons on the bottom here give us a different preset sound made up from all the drawbars. So if we go to the just the organ section, you'll be able to hear them. We've got number 1, number 2. We can change the tremolo if we want it off. Look, there we go. But it's put it on automatically in these presets. Number 5, 6, 7, and number 8. So some beautiful sounds there. If we go to the footages, we can then actually make our own sounds. We can get the footages of what we want to play. And we can bring them up and down to suit what we want. So that's the first section, which is the vintage section. The next ones are more like the sort of Lowry sound. So if we go into the let's take some of those out again. And again, we've got the presets that we can go into. So some lovely organ sounds in the home section. Now the Euro organ, we've got the more sort of Worsey, Bohm, some more the old European sounds. And if we go across to presets, we can hear some of them. Now the next section is probably my favourite, and it's the concert organ. Now this is like the cathedral organs, and again we've got presets which are excellent. Now as we get to the more richer sounds, the bass is really very powerful, and it's just like the bass pedal would be on an organ. So if I go straight to number 8 and I play this note down here, we get the effect of like a bass pedal, and I like to play this a bit louder, bring the bass up on the bass speaker, and you can really get the effect of the bass on an organ. And then we've got the theatre organ section. And the theatre organs, again, you've got your presets. Again, starting softer and going to the much richer sounds. A bit further. Such rich, real sounds. And Yamaha have gone to these organs and they've sampled them, so you're getting the actual sounds of a real organ. So your organ world section is very effective, and we've got the 5 ones to choose from. Now the other button that I want to show you over here is the Ensemble button. And when I go into here, the Ensemble section will give me a choice of instruments that go together very well, and they'll give me the effects as though these instruments are playing. If I just play single notes, and they give you a very effective full sound with these instruments. But we can actually go a little bit further, and we can use them either with the harmony section or for playing chords. And what happens is it tracks the different parts of the notes you're playing to suit the instruments that are selected. So if I go into the string section, and we've got a choice of strings. Here's our classic first violin, second violin, viola and cello. So if I was to play a chord with these, now again, I don't know how much you'll spot from the listening from these speakers, but essentially what will happen, if I go to the edit button, it will show me that the 4 instruments have different parts of playing in an orchestra, and if I play a note in the middle, that's showing me my first violin playing. If I play a note below that, the orange note is coming on, that's my second violin. And if I play another note, that will be my viola playing. And the bottom note will be the cello. So when we're playing sort of close part harmony, it's very effective to watch where the notes are coming from and which instruments. And it really does make a huge difference to what we would normally listen to, which is just the strings all together every time. So if I put a chord on now, and I come to the same sound but use the harmony echo feature, it will do it automatically for me. I'll play my chord, I'll just turn the volume down a little bit, let's come out for a second, just bring my style volume down, and then when I come into my harmony echo again now, with my violins and my violas and my cellos, Put the edit button on, you'll see the move. So the harmonies is choosing which instruments and which notes to play, and it's giving me lovely harmonies on what I'm playing just from one note. So very, very effective string harmony. Let's go to another instrument now. Let's go to, if we go to the brass section, and again I can get it to use that, that full sound with the harmony button on. So we've never had anything before like this, and it just gives you another dimension to harmonies and using a group of instruments. You can also go into some other stuff as well. You go to the woodwind section, we've got the saxophones. So a great section of saxophones together. But we can also go into this preset button. And what this does is it lets us change the group of instruments. If I go into the woodwind section we've got here and preset, and then come up out of the instruments that we're using, we can come into different sets of groups of instruments, and I've got others on here. Now if we go to other, we've got some interesting ones. We can go into these L-pen ones I particularly like. And if we go on to L-pen 2, I'm going to choose a world rhythm to play with it. So let's go to my Irish mazurka, and let's see what this sounds like. Add the harmony. And we can see the instruments. So we've got these really unusual sets of instruments we can bring into this section to give us some extra harmonies. It's just something to fiddle with, an extra facility that wasn't available on the lower models, but you can do all kinds of instrument groups, brass instruments, orchestral brass, full violin sections, woodwind, and they make a really good extra big sound, but you need to get experimented with them to find all those new things. So that's called the ensemble section. So loads of new voices have been added to the Tyros 5, and they've been resampled using new methods, using later technology than the earlier Tyroses. So if we go into the woodwind section, we've got our classical flute here, a most amazing sound. We've got a jazz flute. If we press a bit harder, we get the trill effect. The soprano sax has got particularly better as well. If we go to the ballad soprano, pop soprano, the breathy sax is even better. We go into some other voices. We go to the brass section, muted trumpet's great. The jazz trumpet. And we can get these effects to come in. If I press the articulation 1 button, you get that lovely glide effect. Very effective on the trombone, so that I'll
put the articulation on. So really, really effective. And the guitar section is also much bigger now. We've got a separate electric guitar button here. So if I go to electric guitars, they've all got lots of new digital effects processes to make them sound more realistic. The Shadows guitar here, let's put on the pop and rock guitar accompaniment, the 60s guitar, and we'll have a listen to what it sounds like. Brilliant guitar there in the Shadows sound. And we've got lots of other new styles. We've got Canadian rock and we've got 80s rock anthem and lots of things which we're bringing in this audio, and they're going to give us something extra that we wouldn't normally hear in the style on the older models, but they're going to enhance it to make it sound much, much better. And of course we've got the Music Finder feature, which we're all familiar with from older models. We can go into the Music Finder feature. We've got a list of songs that we can select from. In the model of the in the Tyros 5s, we put in 1,825 song titles, and you can go down letter by letter to find the sound that you want for a particular song, and you can scroll through to the one that you want to find, and then we can select it, and it sets up the exact suitable style from the rhythm section and 4 great sounds that will go with it. So the Music Finder is very, very effective and a great way to find a song set up for something you've got maybe in a book or one you want to play but just not sure of what to select for that particular song.
Okay, so I think you'll agree the Tyros 5 is a big improvement on its predecessors, the Tyros, Tyros 2, Tyros 3, Tyros 4. And through that time, the technology has come on so far that the Tyros 5 can now give us some much more up-to-date features. If you think we've now got the 76-note range of keys as well, which was never available on the earlier Tyros models. So if you're a pianist that's used to that range of 88 notes on a real piano, then you're only 1 octave short now. If you're an organist where you're used to the 2 keyboards, we've now got that bigger area for our left-hand chords to play all the different inversions, and that makes it a much more comfortable instrument to play when you're not having to jump down octaves or fit it into just a 5-octave version. And obviously we've got the new sounds too, all the new sound samples and the new organ world feature, which gives us the 5 sections of organ sounds. And we've also got the new audio styles, so we've got the real instruments coming in to enhance what were fantastic rhythms on the earlier models. They've just got that a little bit better now. And for those of you with registrations from earlier models, we can now bring them forward into the Tyros 5 because there's a section called Legacy, which is hidden away, and not all of you would have found it, but each time a new model comes out, they add all the extra voices into the newest model. So if you've got registrations that you've saved on an earlier Tyros, we can load them in and they will find the right voices to play from your model in a Tyros 5. And also the style will update too, so you'll get the nearest available style, which will be even better with maybe audio backgrounds and better orchestrations. And if you've been buying premium packs for your earlier model Tyroses, Yamaha now are letting you download the new version of those for your Tyros 5. And there's a new program for your PC called Expansion Manager, which is where you can load them into a format that the Tyros 5 will accept. And if you're not too sure about PCs and loading in voices through expansion managers, we'll do it for you. We'll get it all loaded in before you get your keyboard. And we're happy to part exchange your older models. So do get in touch and we can work out what we can allow you on your previous Tyros or earlier model keyboard to move up to a Tyros 5. And with all our Tyros 5s, we check them over very carefully. We make sure that they're in good condition. We also load them up with 600 registrations, and we also load them up with 1825 music finder files. So there's plenty to be playing with to get the best sounds out of the keyboard. And we've got our Tyros Tipster videos that we've produced, which will help you get the best out of the Tyros. And don't forget, we deliver it and we'll collect your part exchange at the same time. So we'll come out and make sure it's all set up correctly for you. If you do have any questions, there is a link in the description of this video below, and just click on there and you can come through to us either by email or you can call us, and we'd be pleased to have a chat with you about the differences and any questions you might have. I hope you found this video useful. Take care.